Tourism in the country is an important earner of foreign exchange, as well as earning quite a bit from the domestic tourism market. And this week on Power Talk, we are pleased to have the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Tourism and Wildlife, Rebecca Miano, to speak about the current state of tourism and what the prospects are, not just this year, but in the years to come. Thank you so much, Madam Cabinet Secretary, for joining us.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Let's start by understanding the current state of tourism in the country up until this point, and what your expectations are for this period until the end of the year.
Thank you. Allow me 1 minute to first congratulate our athletes for the stellar performance in the championships that they participated in Tokyo. That is no mean feat, finishing the first in Africa, the best in Africa, and second in the world. It's monumental. It teaches us how to do something good for our country.
Yeah.
But back to your question, the state of tourism in Kenya, it's a story of progress, of good news. We are on an upward trajectory. At the close of 2024, we did welcome 2.4 million international visitors into the country, and that was the highest ever, which is these numbers are better than pre-COVID, which shows a strong recovery. In terms of earnings, Kenya received 452 billion from tourism. On the domestic front, we saw a growth of about 12%. 5.1 million bed nights, and that does not even include the unlicensed establishments like Airbnb and others. And this growth continues even into 2025. I must say that tourism is one of the strongest pillars in the economy. In terms of employment, more than 1.1 million direct jobs and over 3 million in indirect jobs. And of course, the value chain, the support to the economy, forex earnings, it contributes quite a lot of the forex earnings for this country. In terms of GDP, close to 10%. And you can see the whole value chain, the supply of food, services, and everything. So it is a very good status we are in right now.
Yeah. And good status now.
Yes.
And that means you've set even more ambitious targets going forward.
Yes.
So 5.5 million visitors by 2027?
Yes. We have a stretched but possible target. Because, you know, Kenya has a lot of tourism products. For a long time, Kenya has been seen as just the beach and the bush because of the wildlife and our coast, but we have much, much more. We are diversifying our tourism products to include cultural tourism that is getting a lot of traction. We are also going into adventure tourism, wellness, cuisine. You have seen sports, and that Kenya is a powerhouse and can even lead in sports tourism.
Yeah.
And so with all these diversifications, we are certain that we can attract much, much more. We have what the world is looking for, and that is very encouraging. But we must also work on other things, like visa openness, which we have made a lot of strides, streamlining the ETA, the immigration issues. We have also worked on, through the Ministry of Transport, more access, air access. I have seen some licensing, including some in this week. Flights like Air Dubai have been allowed a second frequency into Mombasa. We have seen the charters. And Yvonne, every Thursday, we have been welcoming 3 Dreamliners into Mombasa, and others even from Italy. So the numbers for 2025 are looking good. But we must apply all these strategies that I'm talking about in order to achieve that target.
I'd like to talk about specifically diversifying the tourism offerings, like you say, away from the traditional, the beach, you know, and wildlife, which is, you know, absolutely important. But, you know, talk to us about diversifying specifically. You could go into some detail about what more Kenya has to offer.
Yes, in diversifying our products, we are coming up with new products because the modern traveler has told us that they require much more than just the beach. If you look at cultural tourism, it gives authenticity, which the world is looking for. And you have seen, we have organized quite a lot of cultural festivals. We have the Maa Cultural Festival that has now found itself into the Kenyan calendar. We have the Turkana Tobonglo, the Lamu Festival. We have, last week we had Tharaka Nithi, Uragate, and we have a lot of festivals that bring in the culture. Not only the festivals, we have counties that are working on their cultural calendars. And at this particular stage is to encourage all the counties, all the communities to really draw their annual calendar in good time so that we can announce a Kenyan cultural calendar and travelers can be able to plan and partake of these offerings. So that is one. Number two, look at sports tourism. We need to grow that. We want the world to come and run with the champions, to come and touch them and feel them and see what they eat, where they live, how they train. We believe that will be a very good tourism product. Our cuisine, we are the origins of Nyama Choma. We need to work on that product and showcase it to the world. Most of the visitors who come to Kenya taste the Nyama Choma, but we need to organize and give it to them in an organized way so that we tell them, when you go to this place, you will find this cuisine, this Nyama Choma. Wellness is another one. We have the advantage of being in the savannah. It is said if you do your wellness in the savannah, it touches that inner part of your heart. Kenya already has that. Recently, we launched our newest product, Astro-Tourism.
Okay.
67% and above of travelers have said that stargazing, the cosmic space, the sky, is of interest. And science has proven that in that realm, Kenya, if you imagine that that is a theater where you're watching something, Kenya is the VVIP of the sky because of less noise pollution, because of how our skies are. And therefore, you can see that Kenya has a lot of products that we need to work on. Not to forget that we can make it an all-year destination because our weather is good throughout.
All year round.
We don't need to restrict ourselves to between June and October. The rest of the year is available. All those products are still there. And therefore, that's how we are diversifying some of the products.
Also the MICE sector. I mean, yes, for sure, there's many conferences that take place in the country. But I'm sure there is plans to do much more with conferencing and positioning the country.
The MICE sector is one of the sectors that brings many numbers because conferences are about numbers. Research has shown that a conference tourist or traveler spends 2 to 3 times than the normal tourist. And Kenya is a favorite destination with all the products that we have. You have seen over the last 2-3 years, every other week, Kenya is holding an international conference with the incentives, with the meetings, and we are really focusing on that. That's why we want to improve our infrastructure, getting a state-of-the-art conference facility. Down at the coast, they've also done very well. Most of those hotels are having very good international standard tourism and conferencing facilities. So if you combine the MICE with all the other products, we will have a package that will really be attractive for the world.
And in line with that, we're hosting the 2025 Magical Kenya Travel Expo, the 15th edition. Talk to us about that.
The Magical Kenya Travel Expo is our tourism expo or conference, and this is the 15th year. I'm very happy when it started. It just started as a small conference or a small event. It has grown in leaps and bounds, and this year we are expecting more than 400 exhibitors, more than 5,000 delegates, and it will be huge. And this will be a time to showcase what we have. It will be time for business to business, B2B discussions, government to showcase what it has, and the tourism sector, the private sector, the hoteliers, the travel agents, the tour operators, everyone is participating. We are expecting over 40 countries to be represented, and it is huge. And what is special about this year, at the back of it, we have the Africa Investment Conference, and we want to discuss how Africa can attract more investments or tourism investments, because with all these ambitious numbers, the growing tourism industry, you also need facilities, you need amenities, you need investments, and that is what is so special. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone for our expo between the 1st and the 3rd of October 2025. We have received already a lot of confirmations, and it is a moment for Kenya to fully showcase our tourism sector. The private sector has come in very, very strongly, and we are just now looking for that day. And of course it is at the back end of the World Tourism Day, which is celebrated world over on Saturday, and we are celebrating that in Mombasa. And so at the back of it, so when we finish, we then go to MKTE. It is our season.
Yes, indeed. And you talked about, B2B, business to business networking opportunities. And that brings me to the issue of trade, particularly intra-Africa trade, which is something, many countries are thinking about on the continent. What are your ideas about how we can encourage this intra-Africa trade to make Kenya a beneficiary of it and to give us access to markets on the continent?
Kenya is very well positioned, being a member of the East Africa Community, the AFCFTA, and African Union. It is a strong participant in the tourism sector in the region and in the whole of Africa. We are very strong in supporting the common protocols for tourism under the East Africa and also under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And therefore, we encourage all the countries to come together, visit each other. And some of the other ways that Kenya has supported this is encouraging tourism circuits with our neighbors. It's working well with Uganda, with Tanzania, and Rwanda, Burundi, so that our travelers can have a circuit in the region. We are signatories to the protocols. Just about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we were in Arusha for the Ministers' Sectoral Meeting for Tourism, and we discussed what common marketing strategies we can have together. Also encouraging regional airlines to operate between the countries that will support intra-tourism trading within the region.
Yeah, so tourism is also a driver of trade.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you look at the trade itself, tourism is a trade in service. a trade in accommodation, a trade in entertainment, in meetings, and in all this. And tourism is a very, very emotional service where people go out there to look for adventure, to look for happiness, relaxation, and that's why it is a sensitive sector. And I'd wish to call on everyone to be good ambassadors of our country, so that when travelers are coming in, they are assured of peace, they are assured of everything they are looking for as tourists. Luckily, Kenya is very well known for its hospitality. We had one of the celebrities that visited our country recently, and when I had a chat with them, they did say Kenya has what every human being in the world would be looking for. And so you can imagine what a special country we have. And because tourism is almost a low-hanging fruit in terms of benefiting the country economically, in terms of employment, especially for the youth, economic empowerment, growing businesses, earning forex. It is a sector that we all must embrace, and we are happy that we can feel the support from the very top, starting with His Excellency, who is our Ambassador 001. If you look at all the speeches he makes internationally, there is a place for him to promote tourism, Kenya tourism, and we are grateful. The world has noticed that Kenya has something special to offer, and we just call on everyone, the creatives. I saw a post this week from one of the visitors called Neil Washington, who summarized Kenya tourism offerings all the way from Lamu, Masai Mara, Nairobi, the tech hub. It is so good to see people appreciating our tourism. Yeah.
And therefore, time for us to harness those opportunities and offer as much as possible that we can to the world. Thank you very much. We wish you the very best with that. And thank you for the invitation to all Kenyans for the magical Kenya Travel Expo that takes place on the 1st and 2nd?
1st to 3rd.
1st to the 3rd of October 2025. That is Power Talk with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Tourism and Wildlife, Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano, on Kenya's tourism offering, its contribution to the economy, and some of the great achievements as well as ambitious targets which she is confident that the country can meet. That is Power Talk this week.